we're going to bring up Diney Nevgood. Let's give it up for Diney!
My last name is Hopgood.
Sorry about that.
Same as handwriting.
I can kind of see the H.
Right. Not only am I a perfectionist, but I also have the memory of a small rodent, which is why I have these papers just pretend to say that it's Harry Potter invisible paper. Alright, so if you Google mental toughness, you get a little over 1 million results, and 95% of them have something to do with sports. I wrote the cardinal rule of college and pulled the definition from Wikipedia, so don't tell any of my past professors. But it was the simplest, most straightforward one. And it said that mental toughness is a term people use that will allow a person to become a better athlete, such as difficult training or difficult competitive situations in games, and emerge without losing confidence. So apparently there's been a lot of research done on mental toughness, and they've all tried to put parameters and definitions around this term. Some sports psychologists seem to be adamant that this life skill only stay within the sports world. And there was 3 Australian researchers who came up with, I think, the best framework for mental toughness. And so they said mental toughness in Australian football is a collection of values, attitudes, behaviors, and emotions that enable you to persevere and overcome any obstacle, adversity, or pressure experienced, but also to maintain concentration and motivation when things are going well to consistently achieve your goals. So I like that definition because it's much broader, and even though it's developed by studying athletes, it can be applied to any aspect of life, because let's get real, not only athletes need this important life skill. Life can be rough, really rough. Looking back on my own experiences, I realized that I developed this strong sense of mental toughness without even realizing it. By every statistic, I shouldn't be standing up here tonight. A happy, breathing first generation college graduate and high school lacrosse coach. Lacrosse has been such an integral part of my life. It saved me from a lot of stress and frustration that I endured in my home life growing up. I channeled all of that negativity and put it into play on the game field, no matter who we were up against, because our lacrosse team has come a really long way. I played on the same team. I was part of the very first team my 7th grade year. What the score was or how much pain I was in from running the entire game, I was determined to tough it out and play until the very end. And I don't think I'd be able to exhibit that mental toughness if I hadn't first had to experience it and put it to play in my own life. I was born to teen parents. My parents were 15 and 16 years old when they had me. So still children themselves, they were nowhere near ready or capable to have a child. And even though my grandparents raised me for the better part of my childhood, and I was blessed to have great friends who had even greater parents that made sure I played sports and was in Girl Scouts and all that good stuff, I was still constantly reminded by my parents what a burden and a life ruiner I had been to them. I suffered daily emotional and physical abuse at their hands, and I can remember being 8 years old or so and deciding that I would not be a victim of my circumstances. No matter what was said to me or done, I was determined to stay positive and fight for myself. I decided that putting myself into school and sports would be my ticket out to become something better than my parents. So somehow at 8 years old, I mastered this skill that I wouldn't even know the definition of until 10 or so years later. I managed to develop this strong sense of self that has helped me to overcome a multitude of challenges, obstacles, and adversities. It was my choice as a 12-year-old sixth grader to even apply to IRMA. I had my grandmother drive me after school one day to go turn in my application because I knew that the school would grant me opportunities I could create a better future for myself. I started working as a babysitter when I was 12 years old to pay for my school uniforms, because those of you that go to IRMA know that those uniforms are not cheap. We used to only be able to get them from Parker uniforms, aka an $80 skirt. And I even had to use my babysitting money to buy food to pack my lunch for school every day, because other than a room to sleep in, my biological parents only provide that. Other than a room to sleep in, they didn't provide any other physical or emotional support. So in short, I learned to hustle for the things I wanted at a very young age. And I wish I could say that that chapter of my life was the hardest or the worst of the worst, but it isn't. Life has continued to throw some serious life-altering curveballs my way, and have truly tested the limits of my mental toughness. There have been many times when I thought giving up would be the easier way out, But still, I've realized that the world goes on, and I'm determined to live a life defined by the ability to move forward, adapt, and do more than just survive. All of these things have not only made me a better, stronger person, but a better lacrosse coach as well. Because being a role model for the girls that I coach is something that I take really seriously. Teaching mental toughness can be really hard. It's kind of this broad thing, and some people think it can't be taught, it's just innate. But I think it's imperative to build not just strong student athletes, but just people in general who are ready to handle any adversity that's thrown their way. And I want my girls to look back on their experiences on our team and say, I learned so much about myself and what I was capable of overcoming through perseverance and mental toughness, because my coach believed and acted out those qualities and made sure we were equipped to do the same. I want our team to embody the definition that mental toughness is a collection of values, attitudes, behaviors, and emotions that enable you to persevere and overcome any obstacle or adversity, both on and off the lacrosse field, because challenges don't automatically stop when you leave the field for the day. Mental toughness is so much greater than sports. And so, to end and quote Gandhi, strength does not come from physical capacity, it comes from an indomitable will.